Good morning, everybody. Danny and Wanda back from Pecan Grove. We down here at our 60-foot raised bed. This was the part that had the carrots in it right here. We pulled all the carrots up. There's two left laying right there we found that was in here. But we are going to take now, I went off and forgot the rake, so I'm having to use God's rake, you know. And we are going to be planting where the carrots was a top pick pink eye purple hull. Now these don't run vines out everywhere. The peas are all right in the tops of them, which is perfect for containers or raised beds or something like that. So we're going to plant 3 rows here. We're going to plant 1, 2, 3 rows. Now I think it's going to be pretty thick, but I think it'll be okay. And it's, guys, a pound of peas now, $7, $6.95. I remember when you could buy them all day long for $1 something a pound. Man, everything's just gotten to be so expensive. Now, the top pick pink eye purple hull almost looks like a black eyed pea. The only thing is, the little part when you first pick them, when they're green, is pink in there. Now those have a slight pinkish color to them, but it ain't very pink, I can tell you. And what I usually do is I'll take two seeds and I'll put them maybe about ½ an inch deep, about 6 to 8 inches apart. And the easiest way to do it is don't cover them up. Just leave them laying there, because that way you can see where you've been. My daddy'd laugh at me. I was sitting there thinking, he'd look at me and go, "Boy, what are you doing?" My daddy didn't know nothing about raised beds. All he knew was plow and put it in the garden. I see my little helper coming along here. She's probably going to want to help.
She'll take that bag and run if you don't watch her.
I'm watching her.
She don't want the carrots.
No.
But we laid down a little spoon.
A little plastic spoon.
And she grabbed it and run.
All right, now that I have this row established, I can, and I already have a few right there, I can come back and I can cover. Now we're going to water these in just a minute. Yeah, I'll have to get on my knees because I can't bend over no more. One of the things that I was noticing while we were down here, I told Wanda, today is our day to water. We done set up a calendar now, because it's done got so bad here till you got to have a calendar, because you got if you miss a day's watering, then you're gonna probably lose something, because it's that dry here.
So we're doing every other day. And not watering everything at the same time. Some things in the morning, some things in the afternoons.
Yeah.
And so we've got a calendar so we know when we've watered, so we can kind of keep up with ourselves.
Because like right now, what I'm doing here right now, this ground is just dry. You know, it's bad dry. And now and that's one of the reasons I'm trying to tell y'all why we're doing what we're doing. One of the reasons we're planting the top pick pink eye purple hulls here is because peas, like butter beans, don't need a lot of moisture. Thus, Mr. Jerry beans down through yonder, look how pretty those things are. We were down here looking at them, and they seem to be, as of right now, we've been able to, we lost some to bugs, critters, whatever, eating them off, but we're managing to keep enough of them alive, I think, that will be okay on the trellis system there. And some of them look like they're trying to wrap around the trellis.
They are. They're getting there.
This, I had a very dear friend up in central Mississippi, Mr. Norval Manning. He was my brother-in-law. he used to plant peas. That man, he could grow some peas now. And he planted his in hills about 2 to 3 feet apart. He'd put some seeds, go 2 to 3 feet, and them things would come up, and I'm gonna tell you what, the man grew more peas. Oh, he grew some peas. I'd say one thing about him, he knew how to grow a garden. Now, before I come around to Miss Wanda's side here, this is the multiplying onions. I don't know this year that the seeds are going to do anything because it's just so dry and hot right now. The mornings are okay, but the days get up into the high 80s. The garlic is fixing to go to seed, which is perfectly fine. And because this is elephant garlic, we don't have to dig it. We can actually leave it, and it'll just die back to the ground. And it puts on a bunch of, they're called corms, C-O-R-M-S, little bulbets that'll come around the base of the clove, and they sprout up and make new garlics. And before long, this whole bed right here will be nothing but just one mat of garlic bulbs, you know. So right now, we just have them in individual cloves that we planted last fall. But by this time next year, this whole bed will just be nothing but a mat of just nothing but just big clumps of garlic everywhere. And then we can start digging up some, getting the bulbs off of it for the cloves, because it will start leaving a bunch of corms in the ground, and we'll have garlic here from now on. You won't, I mean, it'll be here forever after that. And the multiplying onions, we're just going to, now you have two options with them. These are the old-fashioned ones. You can either pull them up, as soon as they die here in just a little while, they're going to die back. You can pull them up and let them just lay out till, say, around June, late June, and they've done dried, it got a papery-like feel to them, and you can come put them back in the ground and separate them out and make your bed bigger and grow more. Or you can just leave them like they are. They're perfectly fine. They can stay there in the ground. And
they'll fill this whole bed in.
And probably in a year,
this whole bed. Did you see what this is looking like?
Look how these are. These have been here a little bit longer here. Look how these are compared to where we replanted this year at. This place is done thickening up. Now, I will say this. You can get them too thick. Because if you get them too thick, then all the little leaves on them will start dying, and they'll never make a very big onion stalk. They'll always be tall and skinny, especially if you don't have the fertilizer to it, and if you have a lot of weeds competing with it. That's why every time we come down here, we try to take and go through here and pull all this old wood sorrel and all that stuff out of it. And at some point, Miss Wanda usually comes through and she'll do like this right here. She'll come through here and take off all these old onion leaves that's dead. And when she gets through with it, it'll look like a brand new stand of onions, you know.
It starts all over.
Then the other cycle starts all over again. Here we got to looking around, and look at here, guys. Little peaches all over the tree. Look at that.
There's several on that one over there.
You pull the leaves back. They're up under the leaves. They're all up.
A lot of them.
You pick the limb up. The way I used to learn to do it is you just pick the limb upside down. When you look up under it, you can see them up under there.
All on that one down there.
This limb down here is done drooping down. There's so many hanging on it. There's actually, you get up here, there's two different phases of them. Like right here, you got the last little blooms that came on. And then you got the bigger ones. You got big ones and you got little ones.
A lot of little ones up in there, I see.
Yeah, here's one stuck off out here. Biggest issue is going to be fighting the squirrels and the possums.
I think this is the only tree that has them right now.
That one over there had a couple in the top, I think. Or unless something, they may have fell off. But this one seems to be, I think, Mr. Jerry one's had a few blooms in the top, but I think they didn't ever take. It turned cold that last time. And they didn't take, but
next year.
Look how fast these trees have grown, guys. Those of you who's been with us, I mean, I can reach 8 foot. That's 9, 10, 11, fixing to be 12 feet tall up there. And this one's even taller than that. This tree here is going to be big before long. And now they all have, every other one
has
electriculture in it. Yeah. I first thought this one had got lost, and I come here and got to look, and it's done wound up in the tree. The tree done growed all up around it.
Now these 3 down here, this end must have poorer soil because nothing on this end does very well compared to the other end.
Well,
they're doing, but they're not growing.
It's got to compete with these trees right here. Now this pine here we're going to be cutting down right here.
And that would probably help.
Getting it out of here because it's not really good for anything. It's just scarred all up. And there's a pecan tree right beside it. And I'd a whole lot rather have a pecan tree than I had a pine tree. And then the pecan tree will let more sunlight in here, especially in the winter months. And plus you got to understand the old fence row there behind the camp house there, those trees, they're probably, what, 60 feet tall up yonder?
Very much so.
And the sun's got to get way up there at a certain angle
to hit this part right here.
The reason I have this now is permaculture. I want everything to be like it's just growing off in the woods, you know? And I know lots of people won't believe you have to trim these trees up a specific way, and you got to do this, you got to do that. Nature does not do that. Nature just lets trees grow whichever way the sun gets to them. That's the way they grow. That's what I'm after. I'm not growing agricultural trees that has to be picked with pickers and people with ladders and stuff like this. This is a permaculture setting off down here in the woods. You look at the trees all around it here. Because of the intensity of the sun today, we don't need any more than 6 hours of sunshine on anything. And we get a full 6 hours from right there to right over yonder. We get a full 6 hours of sun on these trees, and look at them. You can't argue with it. I mean, it's doing good. Now the only thing is, we got one tree down here, this Indian peach that Miss Vicki sent. I don't know what is going on with this tree because I check it with my fingernail. And it's still green.
It just hadn't bloomed out.
It hasn't budded. It hasn't bloomed. It hasn't put no leaves on.
It looks like it wants to.
It wants to. And it gets treated exactly like all the rest of the trees does. It gets, I mean, as a matter of fact, you can see the ground is damp right here. When I was watering that the other day, I actually sit there with a water hose and said, well, maybe it just ain't getting enough water. And I sit there and sprayed water on this ground out here, and this is still damp right here. I don't know. It's a grafted tree. None of the rest of these are grafted. This one is a grafted tree. I don't know what's the deal with it.
We're gonna wait and see.
I ain't doing away with it. I'll just leave it, you know. But now the raspberries on the other hand right here, they have all of a sudden, if they could just get some rain, they have decided that they want to grow. And I am tickled to death about that. Because this is kind of like the setting where Ms. Eleanor had. She had her raspberries up under the canopy of a big giant oak like this. And hers did fantastic. She said, son, raspberries in the south can't take the sun. So they need to be in, partial shade. And it looks like that's working, because look how pretty those leaves are. Look at that.
And the moisture's falling off the trees because I feel it dropping.
Yeah, the dew, because here, y'all got to understand, in the south here where we live at, the dew is so heavy here. Every morning there's water pouring off the roofs of all of our buildings because it sounds like it's raining. It's just dew, the humidity.
And that's what's watering these.
Yeah.
Because it's falling and hitting, they're getting the dew.
You can hear it now. Mm-hmm. Dropping out of these leaves. I mean, you probably can't hear it on the camera.
I felt it hit my shoulders while I was like...
And that's one reason. Now, I am going to, on this end down here, there is a big wild cherry tree standing right there in the corner right yonder. I am going to be cutting that cherry tree and pulling it down in yonder out of the way, because cherry trees and peach trees do not go together, especially the wild ones, because the wild ones carry a lot of diseases that can affect the peach trees. So at some point, I don't know when, but at some point I'll be cutting that tree down and using it for firewood.
It is time, huh?
It is time. I went up to the old trash pile up there and got me a bucket load of dirt. Of course, I have to sift through it, but that's okay. I don't mind it.
Some good dirt.
It ain't nothing but rotted woods, all it is. We pushed all them trees up in there.
It takes a while, and then you have to do some...
You just got to be patient. Then
some sifting.
Yeah, I have to go through it here, and I'm just...
And since we have woods out here, he's just pitching it in the woods to continue to rot down.
Yeah.
But look how, I mean, almost like silt.
It's just black, rich dirt, you know. Now, there's a lot of poke salad coming up in it.
And we'll fight that for a little while.
Yeah, we'll fight that for a while, but yeah, that's okay. It doesn't... Poke salad doesn't hurt anything.
Now, you're getting almost to where you want to be in this bed.
That's my whole goal right now.
Except it might water down some.
It might settle a little bit.
So you may have to do this one more time.
But if I do, it would just be a little thin setting. It won't be as much as I'm putting in here this time. This time I'm really...
And you're covering the cow poop, right?
Yeah, we're covering up the cow manure. Get out. Come on, get out of there.
Come on. You're going to be locked up in a 60-foot raised bed garden. Look how dirty.
What a pitiful animal.
You are wet. She likes to drink from the hose.
Oh yeah, this is a ritual right here.
You're fixing this electric fence where it's on.
Yeah, we don't just rely on just it going from here all the way around the whole thing. We want it to just be one continuous, so we hook it all back together right here.
And you'll go down there and turn it
I'll
on.
go down there and turn it on in just a second. But we have successfully came in and we turned the soil there where the peas is at, amended it. We'd already amended the other parts of it. Got the pink eye, top pick, pink eye purple hull peas planted all in there. Got everything watered.
Got the dirt in the asparagus and water.
Got the dirt in the asparagus beds. Now I'll probably have to do it one more time because like Miss Wanda said, it'll probably settle. And I'll have to do it one more time. But I think, and we watered it after we put the dirt in it. Got it. We watered it before we put the dirt in it. We watered it after we put the dirt in it. So to make sure that it's all good and wet, because guys, we are in a massive drought here. So, is there anything else? That's pretty much it today, ain't it, on this particular project? Yeah. We wanted to get it done, and it is 9:06 in the morning.
Break time.
Break time for us, because we've been going since daylight. And we've got this taken care of. Guys, I got several projects going that hopefully will take y'all along on and show you these different projects here on the homestead. So stick with us. Thank you guys from Pecan Grove.